So before we get started, just using a reaction or by raising your hand, how many of you have used Padlet before with students or in a professional development setting or something to that extent? Okay, so some of you have, not many. All right, so hopefully I can give you a nice overview and then we can practice using one and then go a little bit into the nitty-gritty of how you set these up. So what you're looking at right now is a Padlet, and this one is just a general Padlet that I use to discuss a topic. So as you can see, Padlet is a virtual bulletin board. It can be used to share and collaborate really easy with a group. So you could use it with students. You could also use it if you're doing professional development or in a professional learning community, your PLC. It's a really nice way to share resources. So one person needs an account, but the people you're sharing with don't necessarily have to have an account to post on the Padlet. It's nice if they do, because then you can sort of track them. They can have an icon next to their name. So it's a little bit easier in terms of the attribution of who's posting what, but they don't necessarily have to have an account to use it. You can post videos, articles, links, audio files. You can link to specific websites. And then you can go even deeper and participants can comment on posts. They can like them, rate them. I'll even show you that you can grade the posts right here on Padlet. So there are so many options that you can use when you're developing these Padlets. Students really like these because they are so visual. Dee was just mentioning how her students love to use them. I think they kind of replace the traditional discussion board because they're a little more interactive. They've got a little more energy to them. You can add the fun backgrounds, you can add music, and it's just a little bit more engaging. A Padlet account is free, so it's free to set up, but you are limited to just 3 active Padlets at a time. And we'll go a little deeper into this as we move through the presentation. So what you can do is you can have 3 active Padlets, and then you can archive other Padlets for use later on. If you do sign up for an account, I think it's relatively cheap, like under $10 a month to have a premium account. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one quick feature as I talk about our goals for today. So to add a post to an existing Padlet, there's a plus sign at the bottom, and then it opens up this little menu here. I'm going to write the subject will be our agenda. And then today, I hope that we can look at some samples. We'll create and collaborate. And then we're going to embed a Padlet in D2L. So that's our 3 things that we hope to do today. Then I'm just going to click publish, and it will appear right at the top here. So you can see how easy that is just to add a post. Then someone else could comment on it. They could add a picture to it. So there are so many options. So let's first start off with some samples. This one you're looking at is the stream, and this is the most straightforward one where things are just ordered, in an up and down type of way. The next one is wall, and this is a structured layout that really maximizes space on the screen. You can see that it's very busy looking, but there are, YouTube videos. Here's links to different articles. This is nice if you're making a photo album or if you're bookmarking resources, making a pin board. It's not the best for putting things into order, but it is good for maximizing space on the screen. Here's another example of that wall layout. So this gives you examples of an instructor or a facilitator put questions here, and then people are posting. And it says anonymous because the students don't have an account, so it's not tied to their name. The next one is the stream, like I showed you before. This is similar to social media. So a lot of instructors like to use this one because it's all linear in this way. So you can organize it so that the newest posts are at the top or at the bottom. You could even assign this as a task where the students create a blog or a book report. So each post goes sequentially down. The next one is my favorite one, and this is the shelf. I like this framework because you can organize the content into a series of columns. So it's a great way to ensure that the content that's added is organized into specific groups. So you can have discussions and, set up different columns for adding resources or talking about specific questions. For this one, the instructor is doing a field trip photo contest. So each student is given a column and then they can post their images in that column that's been assigned to them. And you can see this instructor used the grading feature as well to grade those images. Here's an example of the shelf format that I used for a professional development. So here I listed out the different topics that I wanted to talk about. And then underneath I listed, different resources and examples for each one. So I like this one a lot because it's very organized. The next one is the map feature. So if you want to show some kind of spatial or geographic representations, you can use any map or any image. So let's say you're doing like an automotive course, you could add a picture of the interior of an automobile and then have these different links that go to videos or articles that give additional information. And you can scroll in and scroll out on them just like you would do on like Google Earth. So a very nice way to set up some kind of journey or a chart, something that you're looking at. This one is the most free-flowing. So this is the Canvas layout, and it really allows you to scatter, group, and connect content in any way. So you can put content anywhere on the screen. You can resize it, move it around. So this is really nice for brainstorming or trying to find connections between related or even unrelated content, or even grouping students and things like that. So it's a really free-flowing type of structure. Here's the timeline, and this allows you to put your content along a horizontal line. So you can see this is the timeline of Apollo missions, and you can scroll across the bottom. So these can get ridiculously long, but this might be really nice if you're laying out a project and it's the step-by-step process, and maybe you link to the resources that students will need. Or maybe it could be a portfolio where the students showed progress over time. So you can really create Padlets that your students are making or that you're making as an instructional tool. So once you sign up for an account by going to padlet.com, you are directed to this dashboard that's here, and you're able to see your recent Padlets, the ones you've made, shared, liked, and then your archived ones, since you can only have 3 at a time. To start a Padlet, what you do is go to Make a Padlet, and then it automatically takes you to this screen where you can pick a layout that you want to use. I'm going to go with stream because I want to make sure that as we post, I see everybody's posts come in sequentially. Okay, so then once you get your Padlet started, you can give it a title. I'm going to call this one, What's for Dinner? And you guys are going to be interacting on this. Oh, the description's already pretty nice. Made with a taste for adventure. I think that goes with our theme. Then you can pick an icon. I'm going to try to do something food related. So you can pick an emoji. You can even add your own icon by uploading an image. I'm going to go ahead and pick, let's do some cheese for dinner tonight. And then just hit back once you have it. You can copy the address to your clipboard or keep going to the share menu and do the same thing. I'm going to customize it by adding a wallpaper. They have lots of options that you can choose from, or you can also add your own wallpaper. I always like the textures and patterns because I think they have a fun feel. So let's see if there's any that look pretty good. We'll do this wooden one because maybe it represents a table that we're all going to be eating on. You can change the color scheme to make it light or dark. You can change the font. And then here we have posting. So attribution, display author name above each post. We can do that. So if people have accounts, you could see their name. You can select where the posts go. So our new ones at the top or the bottom. I'm going to put them at the bottom. That's always a little bit easier for me. Comments. You can allow viewers to comment on the post. I'm going to turn that on. And then reactions is really a fun area to look at. There can be no reactions. You can allow people to like, upvote, or downvote the posts, give a 1 to 5 star rating, or do grading. Let's do a 1 to 5 star rating because we'll rate people's food choices based on our own preferences. You can do content filtering. So require approval means that for each post, you would either approve or disapprove that post from going. It does slow down the process, but this is a good option if you're doing something that's more technical and maybe there's a lot of misconceptions around the questions you're asking or what the students are posting about. So you want to make sure that all the content coming onto the Padlet is accurate. You would turn that on. Another one is filtering profanity. I always turn this on because you never know. And then you'll click next to go to the next screen. And then you can click start posting to get started. I'm going to share this with you first. So to do that, you can either add members where you physically type in the email addresses, or you can use the copying features that are here. For privacy, I'm going to keep it as secret, and this is what I suggest, that it keeps the Padlet hidden from people being able to search for it online. But if you choose to share it with someone, they can access it. So I'm going to set it so that visitors can write. But you can change the privacy settings and make it completely private. So this could be like your own personal diary that you're keeping. You can password protect it. You can make it members only. Secret is what I normally do, or you can make it completely public. And then you can change the permissions as well. So for example, if you were doing one with your students where you don't want them to edit anything, you could mark it so that they can only read it. Okay, so I'm going to share this by copying a link to the clipboard, and then I'll put the link in the chat. Okay, so see if you can access this Padlet by clicking on the link in the chat. Okay, look at the top. I can see people are coming on right now, so we can see everybody joining. When you get there, on the bottom right, I want you to go ahead and tell me what you're having for dinner. Add a picture. You can add a link to a recipe that you plan on using or a video. Oh, look at that. So we'll give everybody a couple of minutes and then we'll go through and comment and rate each person's food choice. I'm going to go ahead and add mine. So if you look at the menu of options, if you hit the 3 dots, you can get even more options, which allow you to upload something from your computer. You could take a picture. You could record a description of what you're having. You can add an image by doing image search. So I'm going to do the image search. Search for a burger. Do that one. Oh, wow. Look at that. These are awesome. We got pizza. Oh man, are these shrimp tacos? That looks so good. This is so cute, Lara. So go through and see, add a couple comments, give a star rating to each one. That way you get a little bit of practice of using this. And then as you're doing that, kind of think about how could you use this with your students? So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute just so we can talk for a second. So what are you thinking? What are some ways that you might be able to incorporate this into your courses?
I use it for like for my online courses, get to know each other. So I put up a couple questions and ask them to post their picture. Now, if you have like normally I have like 20 to 25 students, so it gets kind of lengthy, but it's kind of fun. They comment on each other's. I don't ask them to comment, I will tell you, but I use it regularly for posting current events. So the student, so I assign a current event each week to someone. They post the current event. They have to post 2 questions, and then they have to run the class for that. So it works out really well. It's really kind of cool because then I just keep I move all the other ones down and we kind of see what's happened over the semester, you know what I mean, or whatever, and what different people choose. It just has to be something business related, but it works really well.
I love that. And it's so visual. So as soon as you see a Padlet, you know, your eyes are drawn to certain things on the screen, and your idea for current events is really cool. What other thoughts are you having?
I use it for orientation. So I have 8 students in a clinical group, and I give them each I put a shelf. I guess I use the shelf, and we do 2 truths and a lie. So they have to tell me, we have to guess what the lie is. So each one of them does it. It's a way just to get, a lot of these students don't know each other because we're not on campus. And so it's one way to connect.
I love that. And it's more interactive than just, give me a brief introduction of yourself. Now they're engaging with each other a little bit more, and it's a little more playful. I like that. Any other thoughts? How could you do these rating systems? What do you think about that? It could be dangerous, setting up a rating system. So we do want to make sure that we're careful about the parameters that we set around it, or just ensure that we're using it for, an activity that might not be so critical. So now I'm going to show you how you can share this. Other than just doing a link, you can also embed it in D2L. So we're going to put our dinner menu in D2L. So I'm going to go to share, and then it says embed in your blog or website. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then here is the entire embed code that you'll need. All you have to do is click copy. And then I'm going to go to a page in D2L, and I already have this all set up, but you would want to start a page, or, be in the page that you would like to add your Padlet to. You would go in to edit the page. Maybe give the students a little bit of instruction. So I said, add your dinner plans along with an image or video to the Padlet. I'm going to go to the line where I want to add my Padlet. Put my cursor there, and then I'm going up to insert stuff, and then scroll down to enter embed code. I'll go ahead and paste it in, and then click next. What's for dinner tonight? Check it over, look at that. It's going right in, check it, make sure everything looks good. And then I'm going to click insert. Let's take a second to load up. And then there is our Padlet. I mean, it's that easy to get it right into D2L. So from an announcement, you could link to this page and it'll be in D2L. You could even do it within the content of your course. So underneath, a best practice is to make sure that you add a direct link. This is a mobile friendly and really any platform friendly type of interactive, these Padlets, but just in case, we always suggest that you add the direct link in case someone's having trouble accessing it. So all you would do for that is go back to your Padlet. I'm going to go back and do copy link to clipboard. And then I'll go to my D2L page, add a quick link, scroll down to URL. I'm going to paste the URL in. I'll give it a title. What for dinner, Padlet. Make sure it opens in a new window just in case you don't want to worry about any formatting issues. And then I'll click insert. I'm going to go down and click save and close. And that's just in case someone's having a little bit of trouble accessing it. Once you save your page, now you can engage with it right in D2L, which is pretty awesome. And then I'll show you a couple other things that are helpful and some new features with Padlet. One thing that was really difficult before was that if you picked a layout, you were sort of stuck with that layout. But now if you go to this little modify button, you can change the layout at any time. Wait, let me go back. It's not that modify button. This one. So the 3 dots. If you go down here, it says change format. So let's say, stream really isn't working out. It's too much scrolling. I'm going to go ahead and change it to wall. It's going to take a second, but it'll automatically change it and keep all of our posts there. So when I saw this update, I was really excited that you're able to change the format. So that way you're not locked into one. And this is a little bit nicer for this task because then we can quickly see what everybody posted on our Padlet. So that's a very nice feature that's been added. Are there any questions so far? Anything else that you want to know about Padlet?
Is there anything on Padlet that allows participants to drop and drag or drag and drop?
You can. So if you go to the plus, you can actually just drag things in there from your computer. So let me see if I can make this a little bit smaller. I've got these windows, and let me see if I can pull this in. You can just drag something right in. Did it go in? Looks like it might be loading up, and there it is. So it's that easy too that you can pull right from your desktop. And that was actually the upcoming CCIT events that I'm going to be sharing with you in a minute here. Are there any other questions? That was a good one.
I feel like this is a much more creative way to have a discussion board. Like way better, especially so I do exercise science. So if I'm asking them to evaluate a particular posture or something like that, and even ask them like find photos of poor posture, bad posture, like I just really kind of see this as a way better interactive tool than the discussion boards I have been using.
Yeah, and it's not a lot of clicking around, in some of the more traditional discussion boards, you have to click on the thread and then you're going in, and it's a lot of clicking around. You can't see everything. This gives you that high level overview and pulls your attention in all different directions. And that's where maybe if you're talking about different types of postures, you could use that shelf format. I'm trying to get back to one of them where maybe you have the postures listed at the top, and then the students are adding different information, commenting, examples, and things like that. So it's still in an organized way, but it's all boom right there in the forefront. Are there any other questions? Let's look. I saw in the chat about the grading.
Yeah, grading.
Grading.
Do you receive notifications when students add to it?
Think so, but you might be able to set that up. That's a really good question. Does anyone?
I tried using the activity feed on my D2L homepage, but the problem was it was kind of like off to the side and down at the bottom, so I didn't receive any notification when a student added to it, and it would just get missed.
Yeah, that is one issue, I would say, that you don't get a notification. I'll have to look, but I don't know if that's something that they have set up here. So if you do want to add grades, you would go into the reactions, and then the last one is grade. You can set up your max grade that's there, and then it's really easy. Give that a second to save, but you can see that on the Padlet, it has opened up this little box here where you can assign a grade. So let's say I'm gonna give Frank's a 98 for that one. The only bad thing is that everyone can see the grade. It could have been a little bit better, a little bit too much butter right here.
And then is that private to the creator?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the one downfall, that everyone can see it. And it also doesn't link directly to D2L. So, but it does give you that option to put the grade in there.
Well, I gave you kudos for healthiness, Frank, so.
April, I noticed an export choice for this. Have you played with that yet?
Export choice.
Yeah, it was export there at the bottom. And I clicked to send our Padlet to an Excel spreadsheet just to see what it would look like. And that might be something, depending upon how you want to collect it, that it might be another way to collect the data in a different sense too.
Yeah. And I like that you can do these as well. So let's say that you want to clear this board for another cohort of students next semester. You can still save this if you would like, or you can archive it and make a new one. So you can remake them. You can wipe it clean. So you can copy your design. You can also copy the posts that go with it. So kind of like Google, how you can remake a file and then keep some of the things the same or clear some of them out. Yeah, there's a lot of options, and Padlet seems like they're continuously adding them. The one thing we want to be careful about is with accessibility. It's fine for students that are using screen readers, so it's fully accessible in that way. Some of the issues with Padlet have to do with color contrasts. So you want to be careful in which, what color students are choosing and how good the contrast is. So maybe talk about having all students use a white background just to be certain that the contrast is okay. And then the other thing is for students that navigate using the tabs. So instead of using a mouse or a touch screen, there are some issues about the navigation of Padlet. So if you have a student that has accommodations, you would definitely want to take into consideration whether or not this is the best tool for your course, kind of weigh the costs and benefits of it and think about any accommodations that you could make. And then I also made a video that walks you through all these steps. So if Laura's okay with it, I'll have her post it to our website as well. We thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you for sharing your ideas and being willing to share what you're eating for dinner tonight.
Thanks, April.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day.